guys and girls, welcome from explorer.com. I hope you are all doing good and everything. In this video, I'll be telling about different ways of creating threads. In my previous video, I have discussed about threads, right? So I have given a brief introduction about threads, and in this video, I will be telling there are different ways of creating threads. So whenever you write a thread, in order to create a thread, you have two different ways to do that. One is extending the thread class, and another is implementing the runnable interface. So runnable is called an interface in Java, predefined interface and all. So extending the thread class. Here extending the thread class in the sense the thread class is also an inbuilt function of Java. Okay, already there will be a thread class and you will be just extending that. So let me discuss with a small example here. Suppose you think that I am just explaining about again threads, okay, with a real-time example. Suppose you think that you have a website, and every website, as you know, every website has a login and sign up, right? So in order to login the user, you have to do validation, right? So first, after validating, let us think that you are having a website and you have a login page. In the login page, he's going to enter the credentials, and what you do after that, when he clicks login, you are going to validate at the backend, right? So after that, what he does, suppose I have a big company and there are lakhs of employees in that, and I just want to, if I am the admin, and I want the report of everyone, so I will log in the website and just click the generate report. So whenever it is generating report, I just have to wait for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 10 minutes, because it has to generate all the report of thousands and lakhs of employees, right? It definitely takes time. If you just take 1 second for one employee, it will also take 1 lakh seconds, right? So time depends, it depends on time, how fast it processes, your computer, how fast it processes. Okay, at that time, what I'm doing, I'm just sitting idle, right? For 10 minutes or 20 minutes, I'm just sitting idle, and I'm not able to do another maintenance things and all. This case is our general, in general case, this is without using threads. And now think that you have written your program, you written a program in Java using threads. Okay, so what it does, so whenever user logs in, a new thread will be created. I'll be writing in Java that my process report extends the thread class, right there. So like that. Now what happens, and a new thread will be created for process report and also maintenance. So you will be able to execute that in a multi-threaded environment. So you'll be creating a thread for process report. So process report will be running its own work, and also maintenance work is another thread, so it will also be executing its own things. So what the difference here, at a time the both things are being done, but whereas in first case I have to wait for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, but in second case I am not able to do that. I can run the program simultaneously. Okay, and another thing to discuss here is, I told that all your methods and classes are pushed into stack, right? So here I have created a thread for process report, and my maintenance is in my main class, and my process report is run as a thread, right? So user validation and maintenance will be in my main class, and process report is just another thread. Okay. See here, main, I have main thread1 dot start is equal to thread1 dot run. So, and again method 1, you think that main method is user validation. First in my main method first is user validation, and I have another method called as maintenance method, and I have thread called process report. So whenever the it is executing this program, it will create another thread called process report, and the process report will be running in another thread, separate class. As I said, the thread is another class which has many different features. Okay, so that's it. Now let us see that how to create threads. As I told that there are two ways to create thread. One is extending thread, and one is another is implementing the runnable interface. So what is this? Suppose you think that I have a thread, I have a class, and I want to run threads in that. Okay, so what I do, I will just extend the thread class. As I told that thread is a class which has many different features, right? So in my thread, when you are writing threads, in order to execute the thread, the default method is public void run. Okay, as if in your main class, whenever you are going to just invoke your Java program, the first default which will be run is your main class, right? In the same way, whenever you are running a thread, the first default method which is going to run is void run. Okay, in this void run you will be writing all the thread classes which you want to execute. So here I have extended thread class, and I have written public void run system.out.println in thread. So I am in thread. So how to execute this program? First you have to create an object for your thread, that is my thread t1 is equal to new my thread, and click t1.start. Okay, and what is this t1.start, and why didn't write a t1.run? Because as I told that thread is a separate class, and you have to run it has many different features, right? So whenever you are writing like this, you should not write t1.run, because it doesn't takes it as separate class. But when you write t1.start, it is just going to invoke another separate stack of class, and it will be running at the side. Okay, that's why I have invoked the thread t1.start, and so my thread is going to be executed in a separate class, and my main class will also be executed. If I have some methods in my main class, it will also be executed simultaneously. Okay, that is about the extending thread class. And next, coming to second important thing is implementing the runnable interface. As I suggest you all to use this one instead of threads. Why, I will tell you. So I have created my thread. My thread implements runnable, where runnable is an interface which is already in my Java. So how to execute that? In order to execute this one, I can't just write t1 dot after creating my thread object. I can't just write a t1 dot start. In runnable interface, you have to just pass the arguments of your object. Okay, so that's why I have created thread instance of that object. Thread t is equal to new thread of t1. So in that arguments of thread, I am just passing my uh, object, that is t1. Then I will be clicking t dot start. So what I'm doing here, I'm creating an instance of that particular object, and then running the thread. So this is how you will be running your thread in implement runnable class. Okay, and next thing which I want to tell is the difference between these two. So why I suggested not to use the extend thread class? Why? Because whenever you are going to extend thread, you know that Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. I can't extend two classes at a time. So if I want to extend two classes, thread, and you think another class has my thread, or super class, you think that another super class is there, I can't do extend two classes, because Java doesn't support multiple inheritance, right? So sorry, and so you don't I suggested not to use that. And whereas in implements runnable interface, After you are executing this, you'll be able to extend the classes. If you have want to use the super class in your class, you will be able to do that. Okay, so this is about ways of creating, that is, summing up all this, you have two ways to create a thread, that is extending the thread class and implementing the runnable interface. Okay, I hope you are all understood, and stay tuned with explore.com. Be supportive.